tried to expose Diddy, but he threatened to kill me. I know all of Diddy's secrets. I even know where he buried the dead bodies, but I am not involved with Diddy.
So what's the deal? Why did Will, who's been quieter than a mime during this whole Diddy saga, decide to break his silence? Let's rewind. For months, whispers about Diddy's shady dealings have been swirling. Court leaks, rumors, and some recordings so wild, they're locked up tighter than Fort Knox. Up until now, Will stayed mute, letting the internet do its thing with memes and speculation. But something snapped. Maybe the evidence was stacking up like Jenga blocks ready to topple. Maybe someone he trusted stabbed him in the back. Or maybe those private video screenings hit him like a punch to the gut. Whatever it was, Will had enough. He wasn't here as the Fresh Prince or the Men in Black hero. He was here as a witness who'd seen too much to stay quiet. Let's paint the picture of what went down. Will starts spilling about a night that's been haunting him for years. A private party. The kind of A-list bash you'd expect to see in a glossy magazine spread. It all began with an invite, slipped to him by a mutual friend. A bigwig in the industry who's so respected they're practically Hollywood royalty. Just a networking thing, they said. You know, Diddy's annual shindig. Mingle with the elite, sip some champagne, talk shop. Sounds like a typical Tuesday for a star like Will, right? He's been to a million of these, no biggie. Except this one? Oh, it was a whole different beast. He pulls up to this remote hilltop mansion. Think less cozy villa, more Bond villain lair. The driveway's lined with black SUVs, looking like a Secret Service convention. Security guards are everywhere, not just at the gates, but lurking like bouncers at a sketchy club. First red flag? They snatch Will's phone at the door. For privacy, they say with a smile faker than a knockoff Gucci bag. Privacy, my foot. That's code for we're hiding something, and you're not gonna like it. Will's spidey senses are tingling, but he brushes it off. He's Will freaking Smith, nothing phases him, right? Wrong. Inside, the vibe's off. The lights are dim. The music's soft like it's lulling you into a trance, and mirrors are positioned at weird angles, giving the whole place a funhouse from hell feel. No obvious cameras, but you just know someone's watching. Will mingles, grabs a drink, makes small talk with the usual Hollywood crowd. Producers, actors, the works. Then Diddy slides up, all charm and calculated smiles, dropping a line that's straight out of a mafia movie. Now you'll see why our circle is so powerful. Chills, anyone? Will follows him downstairs, expecting a power meeting with industry titans. Instead, he walks into a scene that hits like a plot twist in a psychological thriller. Down there, it's not networking, it's a nightmare. People are in compromising positions. Some so drunk, they look like they forgot their own names. Will spots familiar faces. Big names from movies and music, people you'd see on red carpets now looking uneasy like they're not here by choice. And Diddy? He's not just hosting. He's directing the whole show like Spielberg on a power trip, with others recording on discrete devices. Will's frozen, like he's walked onto the set of a movie he never auditioned for. The point was to confuse me, he says, voice steady but heavy. To make me feel helpless, and sitting silent after seeing that, it makes you complicit. Let's pause for a second, because this is where it gets wild. A week after this horror show of a party, Will gets a package at his private address, you know, the one only his inner circle has. Inside, a flash drive and a handwritten note that says, "Welcome to the family." Cute, right? Except when he pops that drive into his laptop, it's like opening Pandora's box. It's footage from that night. Some clips show him just standing there, looking shocked, but cleverly edited to make it seem like he's in on the action. His heart's racing, palms sweaty, because this isn't just a video, it's a blackmail bomb. These weren't parties, Will tells the court. They were blackmail factories. Every event was designed to give someone leverage over everyone who showed up. Now let's talk about the aftermath. A few days later, Diddy calls, all casual like they're chatting about the weather. "Hey, you get your welcome gift?" he asks before pivoting to talk about business opportunities. The subtext? Crystal clear. "We're bonded now," he's saying. "Play ball, or this footage sees daylight." Will's stuck in a real-life chess game, and Diddy's playing dirty. He starts noticing a pattern. Every time he skips one of Diddy's invites, something goes wrong. A project he's attached to loses funding. A director he's set to work with gets a better offer. Scripts he was promised vanish into someone else's hands. Coincidence? Nah, it's like the universe is sending him hate mail. Will's not alone in this. He starts having hush-hush talks with other actors, coded conversations where they ask, "You been to the house? You get a gift?" Nobody says it outright. They're all too scared of being recorded or exposed. It's like they're trapped in a secret society where silence is the membership fee. Will recalls one young actor, a rising star who crossed Diddy. "It's a shame when talent doesn't get how the business works," Diddy said, all smug. 2 months later, that actor's career tanked. No callbacks, no gigs, nada. They quit the industry, broken. Will's voice cracks as he tells the court, "It wasn't just parties, it was calculated. If you played along, doors opened. If you fought back, your career was toast." By 2017, Will's had enough. He's ready to blow the whistle. But when he confides in someone he trusts, the retaliation's swift. 3 days later, a blogger drops a fake story about his personal life, so convincing it's like a script written by a pro. The message? Speak, and we'll bury you. Diddy's network, Will says, isn't just Hollywood. It's media, business tycoons, even ad execs. It's a machine that makes problems vanish for those who comply and conjures scandals for those who don't. If you're in, legal troubles disappear. Bad press never sees daylight, he explains. But if you're out, rumors, hit pieces, anonymous leaks, they come for you like vultures. Will's seen others try to escape this trap. Talented folks who stood up only to watch their relationships crumble, friendships fade, and support systems vanish. It's not just professional, it's emotional warfare. It was deliberate isolation, he says, his tone sharp enough to cut glass. I stayed silent for years, telling myself I was protecting my family, my career. But when the charges against Diddy hit, I saw the truth. Silence wasn't protection. It was complicity. The turning point? A brave witness who spoke out, sharing details that matched Will's experience, only to recant under pressure. The news called it memory issues due to mental health struggles. Will wasn't buying it. The system was working, he tells the court. People were still being silenced. That night, he couldn't sleep, haunted by the lives ruined, careers derailed, and dreams crushed. If someone like me, rich, famous, connected, felt trapped, what chance did anyone else have, he asks, voice raw. The next morning, he called the prosecution, spilled everything, and handed over the flash drive notes and any scrap of evidence he had. In court, Will's not playing the victim. "I'm here because I was part of it," he admits. "My silence enabled it. I should have spoken sooner. Maybe fewer people would have been hurt." He locks eyes with Diddy, who's looking like he just saw his empire crack. "You counted on fear-beating conscience," Will says, his voice a blade. "You built an empire on threats, but it's crumbling now." The prosecution drops another bomb. A former Diddy assistant, weighed down by guilt, leaked a catalog of recordings, hundreds of them, organized by name, usefulness, and dirt level. Will's name was in there, with dates and details. Exhibit 53, a sealed envelope, hits the judge's bench, listing names from Hollywood, business, even politics, with tags like intoxicated, explicit, minor. It's a database of devastation, and Will's seen it. He describes an email chain where Diddy and execs plotted to silence an actress who spoke out. Their plan? Smear her with fake stories, squeeze her financially, and leak embarrassing clips. 3 weeks later, she quit the industry, claiming memory issues. Sound familiar? The courtroom screens flash a text exchange from 2018, Will and Diddy. Will had turned down another invite, and Diddy's response: "You're making this harder than it needs to be. I still have our first meeting to remind you. Hope your kids never see their dad like that." It's the first overt threat, and Will's palms clench, but his voice stays steady. "I didn't respond," he says. The final straw? Another witness, backed by federal evidence too solid to bury, told Will the system could collapse if enough people spoke up. "I'm not here because I'm brave," Will tells the jurors. "I'm here because others were braver first. Silence cost more than speaking out." He turns to Diddy, standing tall. "You called it business, loyalty, family, but you built a prison for everyone around you. I saw what you did to people at those parties. I saw what happened to those who said no." Diddy's frozen, his lawyer whispering frantically. But for the first time, he looks scared. The courtroom's electric, the air thick with the weight of Will's words. This isn't just a trial, it's a reckoning. And Hollywood? It's watching, holding its breath, because when Will Smith talks, the world listens. All right, Scandal Squad, that's the tea, and it's piping hot. What do you think? Did Will just light the fuse on Hollywood's biggest takedown? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button if you're shook, and subscribe to stay locked into this drama. Hit the bell so you don't miss a single update. We're just getting started. And just when you thought this courtroom circus couldn't get any wilder, hold on to your wigs, because Will Smith's testimony is about to send shockwaves from Hollywood to your TikTok FYP. Diddy's sitting there, looking like he just got caught sneaking cookies from the jar, while the jury's eating this up like it's a 5-star drama buffet. This ain't just a trial, folks. It's the Super Bowl of Tinseltown takedowns, and Will's throwing touchdown after touchdown. Let's keep rolling with the juiciest scandal of the decade. The courtroom's still buzzing like a swarm of bees on an energy drink bender, and Will Smith? He's not done dropping truth bombs. He leans forward on the witness stand, eyes scanning the jurors like he's about to deliver the monologue of his career. This wasn't just about parties or power plays, he says, voice cutting through the tension like a hot knife through butter. This was a system, a machine, built to keep people trapped. And I'm not just talking about actors or singers. This thing reached further than you can imagine. Let's break it down because Will's peeling back layers like an onion, and it's making everyone in the room cry. Especially Diddy. He starts painting a picture of how deep this rabbit hole goes. Those parties? They weren't just VIP ragers with caviar and champagne. Every detail was planned, Will explains, his tone sharp enough to slice through the defense's smugness. The guest list, the drinks, the timing of when certain activities went down, it was all choreographed. You didn't just show up, you were chosen. Now picture this. You're a rising star, maybe fresh off a hit movie or a chart-topping single. You get an invite to Diddy's exclusive bash, and it feels like you've won the lottery. But once you're there, it's like stepping into a game of Jenga where every move could bring your career crashing down. Will describes how the setup worked like a masterclass in manipulation. They'd get you comfortable, maybe a few drinks, some flattery from big names, he says. Then when you're not paying attention, you're pulled into something you didn't sign up for. And click, someone's got it on tape. The tapes, y'all. Let's talk about those tapes. Will's testimony dives into the assistant's leaked catalog again. And it's like opening a vault of Hollywood's darkest secrets. It wasn't just random footage, he tells the court, his voice steady but laced with disgust. They had a system. Names, dates, categories. Useful meant you could be controlled. Explicit meant they had dirt to ruin you. Minor? He pauses, letting that word hang in the air like a storm cloud. That's when I knew this wasn't just about money or fame. This was about power over people's lives. The prosecution's not playing around either. They flash another exhibit on the courtroom screens. A spreadsheet, cold and clinical, like something you'd see in a corporate boardroom. Not a scandal trial. It lists names, some so big you'd gasp, with columns for leverage points and status. Will's name is there, tagged with present and intoxicated from that first party. They made it look like I was part of it, he says, his jaw tight. But I wasn't. I was a witness who didn't know how to fight back, until now. Here's where it gets spicy. Will drops a bombshell about how Diddy's network wasn't just a Hollywood thing. It was a full-on empire with tentacles everywhere. This wasn't just rappers and actors, he says, leaning into the mic like he's about to roast the whole industry. We're talking CEOs, media moguls, even politicians. You name a power player, they probably got an invite to the house. The courtroom gasps like they're watching a plot twist in a soap opera. Diddy's lawyer scribbles furiously, probably praying. To make it relatable, think of Diddy's operation like a high-stakes poker game. Everyone at the table's got a hand, but Diddy's the dealer, and he's rigged the deck. If you play nice, you get chips, movie roles, record deals, glowing press. But if you fold, he flips the table, and your reputation's in the gutter. Will recounts a chilling example. A pop star, young and hungry, who turned down an invite. She was on every magazine cover 1 month, he says. The next, radio silence. Her label dropped her tour got canceled, and a source leaked a story about her diva behavior. She was 22. The jury's faces say it all. This isn't just gossip, it's sabotage. Will's not just throwing shade, he's shining a spotlight. He talks about how the machine kept everyone in line with fear. You'd get a call, a text, maybe a friendly visit, he says, air quoting so hard you can feel the sarcasm. They'd remind you of what they had, your gift as they called it. And you'd fall in line because what choice did you have? Mosamsomi, he describes a director he knew, a guy with Oscar buzz who tried to distance himself from Diddy's circle. His next project got shelved, Will says. Then his marriage fell apart after anonymous photos surfaced. He's driving Uber now. That's not a coincidence, that's a warning. The courtroom's so tense you could cut it with a butter knife, but Will keeps the energy high, like he's hosting a tell-all podcast. He pivots to how the media played a role, and this is where it gets messy. Certain outlets were on speed dial, he reveals. You'd see a negative story vanish if you were in the club, but if you stepped out of line, front-page scandal, complete with exclusive photos or quotes from insiders. It was like clockwork. He drops a name, a tabloid editor who allegedly got a monthly retainer to bury or boost stories on command. The press gallery squirms, probably wondering if their bosses are sweating right now. Let's throw in an analogy to keep it real. Imagine Diddy's network like a Wi-Fi signal. Everyone's connected, but only the inner circle gets the password. If you're in, you're streaming 4K success. If you're out, you're stuck buffering in obscurity. Will says he saw this play out over and over. I'd hear about someone, a writer, a choreographer, who'd get close to breaking free, he tells the court. Then poof, their deal falls through, their names dragged online, and they're ghosted by everyone they thought had their back. It was surgical. The prosecution keeps the heat on, pulling out another piece of evidence, a burner phone log, allegedly tied to one of Diddy's associates. It's a list of calls to industry heavyweights right after a whistleblower went public in 2020. Will's asked to confirm a number, and his face hardens. "That's the line I got a call from," he says. "It was after I skipped another event." The voice on the other end didn't introduce themselves, just said, "You're disappointing a lot of important people." Then they mentioned my kids by name. The courtroom's stunned, like they just heard the villain's evil plan in a superhero flick. Diddy's team objects, but the judge shuts it down faster than a bad audition. Will's testimony isn't just about the past, it's a warning for the future. "This system's still out there," he says, his voice rising like he's rallying a crowd. "It's not just one person. It's a culture that lets this happen, that looks the other way because it's just business." He talks about a young actress he mentored, someone with stars in her eyes and a killer script in her hands. "She got an invite," he says, his tone heavy. "I told her to run, not walk, away. She didn't listen. Now her script's in someone else's hands and she's back waiting tables, hoping for a comeback that'll never come." The analogy here? It's like signing a contract with a shady gym membership. You think you're getting a free trial, but they've got you locked in for life with hidden fees that cost you everything you got. The courtroom drama peaks when Will's asked about the tapes again. He clarifies, "I never saw the full library, thank God, but the assistant showed me enough. Folders labeled with code names, cross-referenced with events, locations, even timestamps. It was like a CIA operation. But instead of spies, it was celebrities." He describes a moment that still haunts him, seeing a folder marked pending with a new name, a kid who just signed a record deal. "That's when I knew it wasn't stopping," he says. "They were always looking for the next target." The prosecution wraps with a final exhibit, an audio clip heavily redacted but damning. It's Diddy's voice, allegedly talking to an unnamed exec about containing a problem. "We've got enough on her to keep her quiet," he says, cool as ice. "If that doesn't work, we go to plan B." Will's asked if he recognizes the voice. "I'd know it anywhere," he says, his stare boring into Diddy like a laser. The defense tries to spin it, claiming it's out of context. But the jury's not buying it. They're hooked like they're watching a season finale cliffhanger. Will's last words on the stand are a gut punch. "I'm not here for redemption," he says, his voice raw but resolute. "I'm here because silence isn't an option anymore. If I don't speak, who will? If I don't stand up, what's left for the next generation?" He glances at Diddy one last time, not with anger, but with pity. "You thought you'd built something untouchable, but empires fall when people stop being afraid." The courtroom erupts, reporters scrambling. The judge banging her gavel like she's auditioning for a drum solo. Diddy's team looks like they just lost a bet with the devil. And Will? He steps down, head high, like he's walking off the set of a blockbuster where he just saved the day. This isn't just a trial moment. It's a cultural earthquake, and Hollywood's fault lines are cracking wide open. All right, gossip gladiators, that's the scoop, and it's hotter than a summer sidewalk. Did Will just rewrite the Hollywood rulebook, or is this just act one of a bigger saga? Spill your tea in the comments, smash that like button if you're living for this drama, and subscribe to keep up with every twist and turn. Don't forget to hit the bell. We're dishing more dirt soon, and you won't want to miss it.